Nothing like the sound of food screaming, huh? What's up, people? You win. Let's talk about diet. That's what I think about diet. And that's real. But before I do that, I have a question. What, you thought I was going to let you get away without me talking about what I want to talk about? If, let's say, 90%, and the numbers may vary, of the people who are found to have this Chinese malware in their system, if something like 90% of them never get sick, how scientific is it to say that this malware causes disease? Can somebody answer me that? Especially some of these people who have told us for years now that they're pro-science and they're the authority on science and this is how you do science and everything else is epidemi diddly doodlyology. How that work, homie? So, diet. I was never one to be what you would consider a health nut. For those of you who don't know, I went carnivore because I was curious and I wanted to see if I could subsist on only meat or mostly meat because we produce meat and I wanted to be self-sufficient. So if I didn't have to worry about buying potatoes or rice or any of this other stuff that I don't produce, then that would make my life a lot easier. And, I came to the conclusion that not only could I do that, but I fixed a lot of health problems. And just, for those of you who don't know, my knees were wrecked. That's no longer the case. I used to have a lot more inflammation. I still have some lingering injuries. I have hardware in my ankle. Like, I've fucked myself up many, many times. So I'm still dealing with that, but it's a lot less than what it used to be because I believe meat has allowed my body to repair itself, at least to a certain degree. There's all kinds of things that I notice that go away when I stop eating plants. All these random itches go away, skin irritations, there's no pimples. I mean, I could just go on and on and on and keep listing, like mood enhancement. I'm all for people trying the carnivore diet, or at the very least eating tons and tons of meat, lots of meat. I never get sick. If I don't eat any plants, I never get sick. My cholesterol skyrockets and my immune system is like a fortress. That's what I've observed. Which isn't to say that as soon as I start eating plants, I get sick, but some of them... Anyway, as far as if I noticed any issues, I'm not sure. I mean, I noticed that my nails became really bendy, whereas before they were brittle and they would crack. Eating almost exclusively animal products, they were just like really bendy and flexible, but they wouldn't crack. But I would catch myself catching my nail on something and it would just bend or whack and it would hurt, but it wouldn't crack. So I don't know if that's a deficiency or what that is. That's like the only thing that I noticed that I could kind of say maybe is a negative. And I work with my hands all the time. I dig in the dirt. I don't use gloves when I mix cement. Go cry about it, So, and I put my hands in water. I work in, with irrigation all the time. So like, my nails are wrecked. They should be, but they're all right, But sometimes, yeah, I get these issues, but I think it's just because I abuse them. And it's not, and it's better than what it used to be. Anyway, so I didn't really notice any detriments. I just figured I fixed all my problems, and I'm not committed ideologically to any sort of diet, nor am I anti-plants. I never was that. I figured out which plants mess me up, and wheat, grain in general. Rice is okay for the most part. I don't mess with leaves, man. Here and there I have a little bit of cabbage maybe, and maybe some spices, but like for the most part I don't mess with leaves, man, because we're not designed to eat leaves. And it's hilarious. I was listening to Fart K the other day on Bart K's stream, and he's talking about her closest relatives, right? saying saying that we should eat like our closest relatives. The gorilla, right? Not your grandpa, the fucking gorilla. Fuck, man. I mean, the idiocy. Anyway. So, because I wanted to experiment and see if I could make my life easier insofar as diet, if it could be as self-sustaining, as sustainable as possible, because that was the drive, and all these other things precipitated from it, positive things. I'm very much for the carnivore diet, but it would be all the things that I say about why we should eat this way, eat a lot of meat. They also suggest to me that we should eat some plants too, because our ancestors ate some plants, right? And because I don't want to exclude the foods that I don't have to exclude, especially in times of what might be an upcoming famine, or to even make my life that much easier because we're growing fruit trees and we have fruit, you know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't I eat that? If it doesn't hurt me, doesn't make me feel funny or anything like that, then why would I deny myself the pleasure of eating a delicious guanabana or some plantain or whatever, right? So I eat those things. What I eat is basically the things that I promote, you could say, that I'm in favor of eating, is a shit ton of meat, eggs, dairy, butter. I mean, just lots of fat, lots of protein, lots of fucking protein. Fruits, some tubers, but local, whole foods basically. I don't eat too much fruit. I don't eat too much fruit sugar. And if I do eat fruit, it tends to be starchy. I will eat grain. I eat some sourdough bread, even though I don't think that's a good idea. I don't, very, very, very minute amounts make me feel great. But if I eat enough grain, bread, not cool. Like someone criticized me for drinking beer the other day. I mean, I don't know what kind of loser you have to be to do that, but hey, to each their own. I'll have a beer here and there. I'll drink coffee, and if I fucking feel like it, I'll have some chocolate cake too, man, because it feels amazing to eat chocolate cake once in a great while, you know what I mean, or even once a month, or if I want a cinnamon roll, I'll eat a fucking cinnamon roll. It's like diet. People make too much of diet. Like, just live your life, be happy, figure out which foods don't work for you, and eat a nutritionally complete diet, which obviously has to include lots of meat. That's my belief. For me, for sure. But like, don't be militant about that shit. This is what I'm telling this to myself, not any of you. You do whatever the fuck you want to do. Smoker's cough. I promise. Even though I don't really smoke anymore, but it is what it is. We all do damage to ourselves at some point in our lives. And if I look a little ragged to you right now, that's because I haven't been sleeping very much or very well. It is what it is. But this is the conclusion that I've come to. I eat what makes me feel good, and that happens to be lots of meat, lots of animal products, minimal grain, some fruit, mostly starchy, and I indulge once in a while because it makes me feel good. Even though I understand it's not healthy, I don't think it's unhealthy to eat some fucking chocolate cake once in a while because it makes me feel good. So, this was never and never will be a diet channel. This channel is not about me, but people keep asking me, so here it is. This is what I eat, and I feel good. Sometimes, truth be told, sometimes I'll eat. There's a limit to how many carbs I can eat before I start not feeling so good. So I prefer to eat high fat, moderate carb. It just makes me feel better. more chill, more relaxed. Um, yeah, I don't, it's boring. Diet is boring, people. But my thoughts on the carnivore diet, I think it's the only approach for very few people, for whatever reason. It's the only approach that's going to work for them. For some people, for a lot of people, it's going to work really well for a very long time. But eventually you will run into nutritional deficiencies. I think eating just meat, it's just my opinion, just meat, water, salt, I think that's idiotic. Okay? Just muscle meat. I think that's stupid. That's what I think. But I think a lot of people could do very well on just that for a very long time because it's so nutritionally rich, and we're so deprived as it is anyway. Especially if you just switch over, you're going to feel amazing and you're going to think it's the best shit ever. I don't think it is. I think there's value in indulging sometimes. And I think there are going to be some people who, no matter how they structure their carnivore diet, it's never going to work for them, But out of all the super exclusive diets out there, it's probably the best one. And for some people, it's the only one. For me, why? Why would I do that? I need to stay flexible because I just might be eating this shit. You know what I mean? And you could be too. So hopefully not. And that's my boring ass diet video. I'm even annoyed talking about it because it's frankly none of your business, and it's none of my business what you eat. As long as I don't tell you what to eat and you don't tell me what to eat. You don't tell me what to eat. So that's my take on it. Any questions? I hope not. Be safe, everybody. And take care of yourself and your families.